Hello, this is Dominic from Embedded Technology. Today we are going to share with you how to make Ceph deployment so easy. Ceph storage has become an attractive choice for many IT users. The key reason why the people are turning to Ceph, the open source software. Ceph is open source, empowering IT users with transparency, flexibility, and the community-driven innovation. The high availability. The open source software is designed to uninterrupted operation with no single point of value. This high availability is essential for some mission-critical application where the downtime is not an option. The resilience. Ceph resilience is unparalleled. By replicating data across multiple nodes, it protects against data loss and ensures data integrity. This resilience is not just about recovering from failure. It's about maintaining the data consistency and the reliability at all times. Scalability. Scale is no longer a barrier with Ceph. Whether you are managing small dataset or petabyte level of information, Ceph can scale out effortlessly. Its ability to add new nodes on the fly means you can expand your data storage capacity without downtime or disruption. Unified virtual storage. Ceph brings together object, block, and the file system under one unified system. This unified approach simplifies storage management, reduces the complexity, and streamlines operation. Setting up and running a Ceph cluster for production sounds straightforward if you already are a well-experienced Ceph user. But if you are not quite there yet, it can quickly turn into a mess of complexity and the time-consuming task. There is many details to handle. You have got to run tests in your lab until you are sure how to do it. Plus, there is the learning curve of figuring how to configure and how to manage everything to match your application's need. It's definitely a journey that demands some serious study and training to get everything all right. Here is the common question you might have during your Ceph cluster planning and deploying. Which deployment tool should I use? Which version of Ceph I should use? Which server spec is better for my application, such like processor, memory, network, and disk? How to plan the network topology? Which workload is suitable for Ceph cluster? It can be used for traditional workload. How to secure the data, the reliability, and the data protection? How could I prepare for the HA, disaster recovery? This is all the questions that you need to ask yourself before you start to build up your Ceph cluster. After your Ceph cluster planning, you need to be master for your DIY Ceph cluster with the preparation step. The first thing is to initialize your cluster. You got to learn Ceph in advance. You need to install operating system and all the Ceph package. You got to prepare the hardware platform, configure the network, and build the Ceph inventory, install the Ceph ADM, prepare the NTP server, run the Ceph for the first monitor node, and launch the dashboard, and copy all the key to all the node, and then add your Ceph ADM host to enable your command line, to add host to your inventory, to deploy additional monitor, and also apply OSD available devices, then wait to join your OSD. And then, if you want to deploy the cluster in an isolated environment, you got to deploy a local custom container registry. Otherwise, you also need the monitoring service, such like Prometheus and the Grafana dashboard. And then you could deploy all the OSD and the other Ceph service. It's a very detailed and complicated. All the procedures need to be concerned and need to be considered and prepared. Do you have better choice apart from DIY your Ceph cluster? Of course, you could have a better choice. Today, Embedded simplify all these complex steps into easy actions. With embedded self-storage software package, we provide a pre-tuned and optimized operating system, the kernel, the Ceph community version, and the GUI management, which we call it UVS manager. Is a GUI management allow you to manage, configure, maintain, and operate monitoring the Ceph cluster in a very easy step. And also, in addition of the software package, we also provide the professional service and the consultancy for the afterward service. And with the annual or several months software upgrade, we also provide the package tour to the customer. So with this simple solution, you are able to set up and deploy your production Ceph cluster very quickly with just a basic understanding and experience of the Ceph. You could deploy a cluster in less 13 minutes. In the following video, we will guide you through using our UVS manager to deploy a Ceph cluster. We will show you in the following videos. Use the UVS manager to deploy your cluster. Enter your ID and password to use the UVS manager. Now we could start to add the host. Enter the IP range of your host node to scan which one is available. So it will show the available host in this cluster. So now we could start to initial the cluster by adding the first monitor node. If you want to check the disk information, you just click it. So we select it as the first monitor node to define the public network. And also define the cluster network for this host. Choose the time zone of this cluster. Then we could create this cluster. During the waiting time, you will see the command line message. So on the dashboard right now, you can see only one monitor node has been added. So we will continue to add another host as the monitor node, to add another monitor, to choose these two, to add it as the monitor node. So you see the procedure running as well, the procedure to run to add the monitor node. After this, we could start to create the OSD node. So add the OSD host. We will add the host one by one. You could define you want the OSD encryption or not. So after you add this host, you could define which disk you want to join as the OSD disk. So we see the command line running as well. So now the first OSD host has been joined. You could click the disk to see all the available disks become the OSD disk as well, and check the detailed information. We continue to add another OSD host. Repeat this procedure until all the host nodes that you want to join into this cluster. So now you can see all the OSD disk is up in this OSD node. We check the dashboard, you see the health okay, and the 3 monitors, 3 NGR, 24 OSD disk. We could also use the web terminal to check the status of the cluster on this OSD host. And we could use the Ceph service menu to see the entire cluster status regarding to monitor OSD MGR and the metadata server node. If you want to check some details, just click it. So right now, you roughly already deployed the initial cluster, and you could continue to do the further configuration on it. With the UVS manager, you are able to deploy the cluster within 30 minutes just with the UVS manager.